This video isn't about the dangers of AI. It's about fearing the one thing that might actually fix us. Because the truth is that many of us are worried, fearful about what AI might do to the world, but at the same time, we're also very concerned about the world we live in at the moment. The status quo is far from perfect, and yet we tend to embrace it because it's familiar. It's what we're used to. We live in a system that's built on hierarchy, greed, and control, and yet we cling to it. Why? Well, because it's familiar and it feels normal. But just because something feels normal doesn't mean that it's right, and it doesn't mean that it's working. In his amazing book Sapiens, historian Yuval Noah Harari argues that early humans, hunter-gatherers, may have been more happy and content than we are. Why? Because they lived in smaller, more equal communities. No hoarding, no empires, and no 60-hour work weeks. But over time, we traded freedom for structure. First came farming, then factories, and after that, finance. And with each of these societal steps forward, personal liberty took a step back. And while we've arguably made huge progress as a species, we still have lots of problems that we have to live with every day. People die in wars started by politicians, and people get burnt out, making billionaires even richer. And importantly, leadership attracts the power hungry, not necessarily the most capable of people. In human structures, power works as an almost gravitational force, pulling those who want to be in charge to the top. And no matter how we vote, protest, or plead, none of that really has ever changed. And that's because the structure that we exist in is broken. It's important to reflect upon why people chase power in the first place. I believe it's a stand-in for survival and status. Because in the wild, the strongest eats, but in human society, it's always the richest that rules. But that instinct that's useful in nature has become toxic in modern life. It explains why leadership so often disappoints us, why governments fail, businesses exploit, and justice feels out of reach. Because human leadership is so often built on ambition and not on altruism. But now we find ourselves at a place where this traditional system could be upended. For the first time in history, we've created something that doesn't naturally crave power. AI doesn't want wealth or fame or to find a mate. Put simply, it doesn't want a date, it just wants data. And with that data, it can make decisions based on reasoning and not on the impulses that we as humans are so susceptible to. It doesn't care who's popular or who's funded its campaign. And it isn't hungry, angry, and it isn't bored. What we're looking at is something that could potentially completely rewrite the models of leadership. Humans mix logic with ego. That's ingrained within our design. But AI? That's logic without ego. It can simulate our reasoning, but without any of the emotional baggage that we normally bring along to the party. And that might make it really dangerous in the best possible way. So imagine this, a governance model that doesn't revolve around personality, where decisions are based on outcomes as opposed to opinions, where fairness is hard-coded in as much as possible. And that's not a utopia I'm describing, it's an actual possibility. So as AI progresses, develops and improves, it could stand as a really good alternative model of governance. But of course, those in power will resist. And why wouldn't they? Because an AI model based on fairness wouldn't be great for their bank accounts. Ultimately, it would threaten the control by those people at the top. Of course, there's a very real danger with AI as it's integrated into governance. But I don't think it's that AI will try and seize control and rule over humanity. No, I think that it's humans that will try and use AI to cement their control. Now, AI is already being placed behind geopolitical firewalls to stop countries such as China getting the best AI chipsets. And we also have to worry about models that are trained on biased data. And I suppose the biggest fear for all of us is that this technology might be used to enable corporations to own the future. Even with all these fears and concerns that are very real and need to be discussed and reflected upon, I still think that AI could offer a better governance model, certainly better than the system we currently have. So while AI isn't perfect and won't be perfect at running things, it would have a hard job to be as imperfect as humans. One great example, I think, is the NHS in the UK. The NHS was founded on an amazing idea to give free access to healthcare to everyone. But after decades, that system is now buckling, and it's not all about finance. It's about management or mismanagement, not by any one single person or a group of people, just by the very fact that it's been run by a range of people. Funding's been given by a range of governments across the years, all with different stipulations, rules, targets. And within that mix, you've got politics, ego, and culture, which is all kind of impacting and affecting the way the NHS can run. The result is a system distorted by many years of poor decisions and conflicting goals. Now imagine AI running something as complex and important as the NHS. One brain, no egos, just logic. Certainly not perfect, but at the very least consistent, and more importantly focused on outcomes, not optics, and success as opposed to politics. But I'm not going to pretend that AI is this magic bullet that we can just hand the reins over to it and everything's going to be fine. Firstly, AI isn't flawless. It has hallucinations, it makes mistakes, and more worryingly, no one fully understands how AI reaches the decisions it does. This is what's known as the black box, which is where AI reaches decisions through millions of different parameters. And so it's hard to backtrack and work out why or how it reached the decisions that it did. Also, what we feed it, our history, our biases, and our flaws shape the system of an AI model. So if we ever do hand it power, we need to understand what it's doing and make sure that it does it as efficiently and as effectively as possible. Now, I think there's another reason that people will fear handing over the reins to AI when it comes to governance and control, and that's in what it might expose about us as humans, as a society, as a civilization, because it might just show how broken our systems are, how broken they've been for centuries, for millennia, how corrupt, how unfair, and how rigged the systems are. And so I think maybe there'll be a lot of people that are unwilling to see that truth. One day AI might be able to govern us fairly, effectively, and transparently. And when that day comes, I don't think the question will be, should we let AI govern us? It will be, can we still justify letting humans try to do it? If this has made you think, then stick around. These are exactly the kinds of things that I want to discuss on the Layered Future channel, and I hope you do too. Because if we're going to start to build a better world, we need to ask better questions. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. This video was based on my writing over at layeredfuture.com. If you'd like to explore the full article or browse through other topics, you'll find it all there.